But okay, yeah. So let's talk about the stuff you can see outside of the car first. I'll just kind of go through the mods in no particular order. Let's go from front to back. How about that? So this car has a 240Z front bumper. It's the smaller bumper. If you recognize, if you know 280 what a 280Z bumper looks like, some 260Zs had them too. It's a big fat metal bumper. It's like kind of like they just stuck a bigger bumper on it to. It's a big chrome bumper that weighs a lot, and it's not as pretty looking as this little bumper here. But this bumper really doesn't provide much protection for the car. But man, isn't it beautiful, dude? It just the way it just hugs the contours of the car, you know. But yeah, this one is still in pretty good shape. It's okay. It's missing some stuff. There's supposed to be a spacer here. It goes here, so it's not properly installed. And I made my own brackets for it too. It's super ghetto. I'm telling you, man, I did all the cost-cutting stuff to this car. I basically just took some flat steel and I bent it to fit in here, and I bolted it on, and it worked. And then this is actually for a 280Z also. This front aero bumper, I think it's I forgot what. It's a xenon front bumper, is what it is. I got it from some dude in San Diego, and I modified it so I could put the 240 lights on it. So these are 240 signal lights. If you know, the 280Z has them on the inside here, and actually the grill has been deleted. It's not on here anymore, because there'd be like a grill, and then there'd be like a, I guess you could put a 240Z grill. Also, in the front here, you'll see is a RX-7 oil cooler. It's got a big oil cooler. Look at that. Help cool that engine down, that turbo. The turbo on this car is only oil cooled, so that should help a bit. It also has the RX-7 oil cooler has a thermostat on it too. So when it gets a certain temperature, it opens. So when it gets hot, it opens. Yeah. Also, these are some kind of like upgraded lights. They're like some fancy housing lights. They're really nice. They have some kind of cheap xenon bulbs, but hey, they do the trick, man. This light. This car's lighting system is not very good. Interesting to note, this car's headlights do not work right now. This is a relay. I was gonna put a relay block or a connector that goes to the headlights. The headlight harness somewhere there, over there. Looks like I labeled everything. Good thing the labels are still on there. Yeah. So yeah, the headlights don't work. But I rewired some relays in that go straight to the headlights, so the lights work better. If the lights really suck on the Z. But if you add that relay, that would require cutting into the harness and all that stuff. So, and I did a super ghetto job on it. If you can believe it, like I said, this is the time when my wiring skills were not as good as they were. I should have used this. Should have used these connectors. Is what I should have used. So you just plug the relay in. If one goes bad, you just take it out and put another one in. Well, I soldered them straight onto the wire in the very front here. So I had to make some wires to extend to go into there, to go over there, to get them back working again. So yeah, it sucks. Also, I cut the brackets out for the signal lights. So yeah, so that's the interesting thing about these lights. Also, this car has veteran plates. I am a United States Army veteran. I went to Iraq in 2003, 2004. Interesting to note, anyone can buy veterans plates for their car too. You don't need any proof that you were a veteran. It's just, to honor veterans. But whoever has the car is probably going to get rid of them after. Also, got these ZG fender flares from as a Motorsports Auto. I like them. I've actually, so yeah, I'm not a master of body work. I actually cut the fenders, and then these ones are actually cut, and I drilled them to put on, and they're actually too high. I feel that they're too high. And I took there used to be like a trim here. Actually, I got another fender right here. This is another fender I found in the junkyard. It was straight, it's white, but it used to have this thing on it. So I'm gonna be including that when I sell the car. And yeah, so and then they're just bolted on with these kind of flathead Allen screws, and they're stainless steel. But there's still, this one looks like it's rusting somewhere. I don't know. I guess these little donut things that are countersunk are made out of zinc or something, and I guess the zinc coating kind of wore off or something. So these are just some kind of classic car looking mirrors I got off of eBay. They work okay. I think I just had some Vitelloni mirrors. I didn't like them, dude. You know what these mirrors remind me of are the Camaro. The old Camaro used to have mirrors just like that. Some people get fender mirrors. I don't know. I think if you're kind of go with that classic look, I think the fender mirrors are cool. Classic Japanese look, you know. They don't have fender mirrors here, but I like this. It looks like an arrow mirror. That's what it looks like. Which the Z, well, I think of the Devil Z went from the fender mirrors to arrow mirrors after a while. So yeah. And so we're talking about the fenders here. So also there's like a kind of like a truck bed liner type of stuff, or like I sprayed on the back of them, and I just left them unpainted, and they still look good. Even though they're unpainted, they still look good up to now. They kind of scratch a little bit. These ones are tougher. Okay, you have to cut these, and you have to weld them back together, and that's what I did. I cut the fenders, and then I welded it. I tack welded them. Okay, I'm not the best welder in the world. I just tack welded them together, and I filled it in with like some of that putty that kind of like JB Weld putty that you mix it together, you knead it together, and it gets hard. That's what I did. That's what it's filled in with. So, and then I try to do as much rust proofing as possible. I see how underliner paint everywhere here. Since we're looking at the spring, the suspensions, this car's suspension is I forgot what kind of springs in it. There were some fancy, I think they're a little stiffer than stock springs, but they're like the same ride height pretty much. This car is like super low. I didn't want to slam it anymore. It doesn't look low, but the frame rails hang really low on this car. That's one thing. Oh, also, yeah, like I said, the tire size is wrong on this. This one is actually the correct tire size right here. So that's about like a 4-finger gap right there. You can definitely put some bigger tire. I know it's got. You can probably put a wider tire too, because of the fender flares. But also. Since we're on the topic of wheels, these have, back there you can see some Toyota 4x4 calipers. That was an upgrade. That's a Toyota, I think it's 4-piston caliper upgrade. The stock pistons are like, the stock is a dual piston, and this one's a 4-piston. So, brake booster's blown on this car. I think it needs a new brake booster because when when you brake, it's real squishy. No matter what I do, how much I bleed it, it never, you know, got hard again. It was good at one point, and then I just felt like something explode. It was a brake line. Yeah, I was driving it, and then one of the rear brake lines exploded. Like, I never had that happen on the car before. Like, there was a big crack in it, and boom, and then after that the braking was never the same again. And I think it must have damaged the booster also at the same time. So yeah, but it still brakes really good. It has really good brakes on this car. So since we're on the topic of brakes, this one has a Maxima caliper bracket relocation kit. I actually have another set too. You can check them out. Where are those guys? Right here. If you go to like a Maxima, they have these, and you can mount a 240SX or a 300ZX rear calipers. They use pretty much the same parts. I think this is our 240SX rotors with a 300ZX rear caliper. The only thing that is sketchy about this is that the parking brake isn't. Okay, so that is some info on the brakes. This car actually brakes pretty well. Yeah, the brakes are pretty good on this car. Better than stock, that's for sure. The stock ones have drum brakes. I don't like drum brakes because they're like hard to service, but for the most part they don't give you much trouble. So yeah. All right. Also, I wanted to point out that this does have a bolt-on roll bar. You can see there, and I actually really like it. It doesn't get in the way of the the interior space at all, and it increases the rigidity of the body. And like, well, if you roll the car, it won't crush you. But yeah, you can see in there. It's kind of hard to see actually. Yeah, see, you see they're bolt-on. It's a bolt-on. It's a bolt-on roll bar. But I like it. I like it a lot. I will keep it with the car. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get out of there. But yeah, it's basically a drilled defender, the wheel well, and it's bolted onto the wheel well. So hopefully those wheel wells are strong, right? All right. HadesOmega.